Okay, here we go. 4 bad habits that new retirees or very soon to be retired people cannot make. You can't do it. And before we start that, I'm going to get in a good mood here. I'm going to be enjoying Old Soul Small Batch Straight Bourbon. Oh, actually, there's a bottle coming of this one. Oh, good. I'm excited. Lingering, earthy, spicy, toffee, fresh, dried cherry, vanilla, and rose flavor. I'm not sure what lingering. Maybe that's like the oily kind of sticks around in your mouth there. Earthy, yeah. I smell spice for sure. Oh, I'm excited. Okay. So they're sending a bottle of this, but this is the sample of it. Uh, yeah, thumbs up for me. I mean, there's the dried cherry. Yeah. Anyways, I hope you grab a drink and hang out with me here tonight as we go over these 4 bad habits. And I'm not going to say that they're bad habits. They're just habits that we need to figure out, right? The first one is I'm guilty, 100%. You know, in those later years, if you're watching and you're, getting close to retirement or whatever, these are probably your higher earning years. Well, we get a little loose with the budget, right? We don't spend as much on stuff anymore. We're maybe having fun with family and experiences, take the family to Disney World, whatever. And so we kind of lose sight of that really stringent budget that the 20 somethings and the 30 somethings would hopefully be focused on there. Um, well, it gets to be a little tricky here because we went from doing really well and being strategic with our money to being a little looser because now I make more than I thought I would and I'm moved up the chain, so to speak. And well, normally that happens right around the time you're going to retire there. Family being the focus and everything. And right? You've been there. I'm 42 and I already find myself saying, I need less stuff, but I would love to go do something with my daughter or go find people and hang out with them and be around family and stuff. So the trouble is, retirement is a fixed income game, is it not? Mhm. Meaning we've, got our distributions from our IRAs. We've got, maybe you have annuities or whatever. Maybe you have a pension plan and Social Security eventually. And it's like, man, we need to know what income is needed to make this happen. So we got to get back to that budgetary mindset there. The second thing is, if you have debt going into retirement, I'm not going to say that that's a bad thing. It's a personal thing, right? You may be okay with having some of this debt. A lot of us have lower interest rate mortgages from the good times when, that was the case. Maybe a lower interest rate car and you go, well, it's debt, but it's like really cheap, so I don't mind. Well, we need to know how and if we can support that debt inside of the retirement plan. And now, if it's just killing you and you're losing sleep over it and stuff like that, all right, maybe it's more advantageous to just, knock it out now. But if it doesn't bother you, we just need to make sure it's not going to become a bother when you get into retirement. And where do we learn that from? Back to the first thing, right? Having that true budget, at least something that we can work with, rounded up to the nearest $10 or something, but something quick there, or something at least more tight than what you probably have. We can also put inside of that like a debt payment plan. So we don't just do like the retirement planning. We say, well, you have some debt and it's bothering you. And how do we balance that? Like, where do we find the numbers to make it worth having a win on both sides, right? So something to focus on there. Maybe you downsize now, right before retirement or early in retirement. Maybe we do some tax loss harvesting in a brokerage account to show a taxable loss, but also pay down some debt and get a little bit of a tax break there. It could be something like that, just to give you a few examples. The third thing, I made a list. Let's check the list here. Where's the list? Your emergency fund. Remember when you were younger and they would say, 6 months of emergency fund or whatever you were comfortable with? Well, now it becomes a cash/liquidity fund. Because you're going to have emergencies, but we need that cash. You may have extra things you want to spend money on. You may not want to suffer some market volatility in those early years of your retirement. So now we're looking at cash as not necessarily just an emergency fund, but hey, out of all my assets, some of them should not really be taking any risk. And right now, money market funds pay a ton, so compared to what they did. But so it's like, okay, I don't have to take any risk. I can make 4.5% or even more. Do that, right? With some of the money. So as you get into these sort of retirement years, one of those bad habits is people say, I've enjoyed the growth. Well, of course, the market hasn't pulled back more than 10% in over 15 months. It feels good. But now's the time to get a little bit of that off to the side, right? Which brings me to number 4, is One of the bad habits is staying too aggressive. So it's time to be boring. You have enjoyed that moment in life where you had all your growth and you had those really good years and you weathered the down years and your portfolio has grown to something sizable that you're hopefully happy with. Well, now it's time to be that diversified, boring sort of investor. We're interested in not necessarily protecting everything, but we need to start slicing off a little bit of that, saying, well, this is not going to participate in that market volatility. Or when stocks go up, I have my bond position as part of my withdrawal strategy. When stocks go, or I said it backwards. You get what I'm saying. When one side's doing bad, I can draw from the other, but we don't want to be 100% invested in Tesla. You know what I mean? Like the things that you've done. I've done the same where you take extreme risk on something and I hope it worked out for you. But the market volatility becomes more interesting as a strategy rather than saying, look, markets go up and down, I'll just weather it. That volatility could impact the total strategy there. I'll give you a bonus one, actually. I can't relate, but I've watched it happen to people that are of retirement age. Be wary of spending too much on the family there. I've watched clients take from some of their accounts legally and allowed to do this to pay off some student loans or help kids with their student loans, helping with down payments on their first house, or one of your kids gets married and you want to participate in the wedding financially. If it can fit the plan, sure. But this is one where you go, hey, that's not an emergency, but can I take $10,000 and help them with a down payment or a gift or, whatever it is you want to do? Be mindful of that emotional side versus, I don't want to go back to work. I want, to help, but I don't want to go back to work. Can we work out something, right? So there you go. Lack of budget knowledge, deciding on how you're going to handle any remaining debts in retirement. Is it a priority or not? Your emergency fund becoming a cash and liquidity fund, more so for volatility and less about those emergencies. And of course, let's try not to stay too aggressive. It's one of my favorite things to do with clients is go, okay, we've done everything. Here's how you're invested. And here's how you have to be invested to make this plan successful. 9 times out of 10, the client has way too much risk. And we go, here's your chance, right? The markets are basically at all-time highs. We can slow things down a little bit. So I love that one there. That's all I got, right? That is all that I have there. I'm actually looking forward to getting that Old Soul. This is quite tasty. We'll try it again once I get the bottle there and see how that goes. But if you're interested in working with us, Chris here is just a total nerd when it comes to planning, and he will tear your life apart. He's likely the one you might work with if you join us at Jazz. I hope you'll keep us in mind. Consider moving accounts from whoever your other advisor is to somebody who's actually working for you. All right, jazzwealth.com. Enjoy the rest of your day or evening, and thanks for watching.